So, it is what it is. Story mode. Now, I'm actually just going to go into story mode. We've got the new quest. What's it called? Harbinger of Dawn. Where is it? Harbinger of Dawn, Encounter of the Third. Time to see what Kevin is doing. Any game fandom going to be toxic? Most. I would say 90% of them are. She met her only hours ago. Who? The girl vividly remembered that she just came to the training ground and waved hello to her, and then the world spun. In an instant, she found herself on the moon and alone. She could not activate her spatial artifact Sumeru, and only managed to confirm her adjutant was alive by a weak signal. The bubble universe inside her was still intact. However, any beings outside them became a mystery to her. Which is exactly the reason why, when the other repaired that broken bridge across space-time, she immediately captured that vital signal and established this miraculous connection with her. So Durandal, when Kiana fixed the bridge, Durandal made a connection to Rita. No, this is no miracle. She's her younger sister, even if they were separate. Oh no, to her. Oh yeah, true there, when, yeah, true, 1 second. Turn that down. Okay. To sum it up, we are stranded on the moon, and Earth is seemingly being reconstructed by Project Stigma, which World Serpent believes is the only way to purge Honkai. What's your situation in the Sea of Quanta? After undergoing some events, May, Bronyon, Herschel Sentience, and I met Dr. May and robot Prometheus from the previous era in a bubble universe similar to the moon. That is what's happening. Dr. May said she can reconnect her bubble universe to an imaginary ending with our aid, and we can return to the proper world incidentally. As a part of that plan, did you just channel your power of the void to fix a bridge in your bubble universe? Yep. You can see what we're doing? No, but the spatial power was penetrated, or has penetrated the Sea of Quanta and miraculously fixed a bridge for us. If it's related to you, then it in turn proves that we're in a mutually superposed duality state in terms of spatial relations. Durandal, say that one more time and actually say something understandable. Thanks. In other words, from our perception of three-dimensional space, we must be in the same area of the moon. No way! The area looks identical? And when you did something, I did something? What? Then Dr. May's plan should have a high chance of success, because we're very close spatially after all. Don't take it so lightly, the key of reconnecting a bubble universe to an imaginary ending lies in the anchor's stability. This isn't the same as being close spatially. Anchor? It's an inversion basis point that allows a bubble universe to connect to the other spaces. To give an example, is just as the bubble universe inside me is anchored to me, and your memory space is anchored to your Herschel core. The Dr. May over there must need something in the real world to do that. And that's gonna be Kevin. Could it be that bridge? Okay, if the bridge is the anchor, I give up. I give up on the whole story if the bridge is the anchor. She didn't mention that at all. We repaired the bridge to contact Prometheus on the other side, and then we'll prepare for the activation of the husk. After that, we need to seize the connection between the husk and the ending and use it to return to the real world. This bubble universe will also naturally be reborn. This is based on the renormalization technology we realized previously. Yo, why is there hair? Why, Durandal, what's up with your hair? Bruh, what's up with the hair, Durandal? Honkai story, but sometimes the dialogue is just too complicated. I need like a 1 + 1 = 2 kind of explanation here. Is anything wrong? With the bubble universe, that's easier said than done. Oh, why do you have the hologram now? Oh, that's cringe. This is a communique? What the fuck's a communique? What is a communique? I don't even know what that fucking is. From Dr. Schrodinger, a friend of Dr. Einstein and Tesla. Hello, Doctor. So what do you mean by easier said than done? There's no guarantee the method you mentioned will revitalize the bubble universe. If anything, it may destroy it even earlier. To be quite frank, I do believe that Schrodinger might be smarter than Dr. May in this specific area. Like, imagine if Schrodinger is smarter than Dr. May. That's fucking amazing. I love that. Dr. May can Ligma. But maybe that's May's goal. Dr. May's goal is just to kill herself. Nani? The portal isn't just for providing an anchor for spatial transformation, it unifies the flow of energy, preserving the world bubble, not the bubble. And renormalization is an act of the imaginary space itself. To use a metaphor, it's like a tightrope walker. Could you imagine trying to push a herd of antelope over a cliff by tightrope walking? Well, no. Depends on how good they are at balancing. You know, that there's more questions to be asked here, Schrodinger. Like, do the antelope know that they have to balance? Do they know that they have to be careful? Or are we just chucking them off the cliff and hoping for the best? Maybe you should check with Dr. May to see if she's hiding anything else from you. She's definitely hiding something else from us. People from the previous era have their own points of view. We can't just assume there's a mutual understanding. However, there's not necessarily malicious intent towards us, but perhaps some unspoken resentment. Maybe Dr. May actually secretly hates Kevin. In terms of Sia Quanta, yeah, that's what I meant, sorry. I think in terms of this specific area of expertise, I think Schrodinger, yeah, might be smarter. At any rate, it's safest to talk to each other about it. Just be careful. Got it? We'll be cautious. It'll be great if you could somehow get the original plan, and well, of course, have to be prepared for anything negative. If you sought outright in May's opinion, she might believe, as I do, that the heroes of the previous era can't all be bad. But that doesn't mean they'll be as amiable as Fu Hua. You get what I mean, yeah? Yeah, May already told me about what she's run into. But this, thanks for your concern, Durandal. The next time we get together, there'll be a great challenge ahead of me. Take care of yourself, Kiana. Yeah, you too, Durandal. Okay. Oh yeah, what's this guy's name? Husk Mysticism. Oh, this is gonna be a boss added next patch, isn't it? Fuck me. Fucking bosses. Husk my nuts. Yes, something did happen, May. It's fine, May. In the outside world, Durandal caught up my Hersha signal and thus used my Hersha core to establish special communication with me. Is she still at Shixel HQ? No, because of Project Stigma, Durandal, Sealy, and Lisu Shang were forcibly sent to the moon in the real world. The location on the moon corresponds to ours. There's a large sanctuary named New Atra there, and many Stigma awakened live there, filtered and chosen by World Serpent with this forceful method. A reconstruction of the bridge affected reality, and so Durandal was able to establish a short connection. New Atra, I heard Raven mention this place, but I never thought that it would be on the moon. Could it be? She said that the World Serpent had arranged Sora-chan and the others to have a vacation at New Atra. Sora-chan ate my fill of sweet pepper curry. I did quite a number of silly things back then, reminiscing to chapter 15. Damn, dude, that was a long time ago. Their conversation unconsciously touched a melancholic past. Definitely. But this time, they could face each other with a smile as if those memories were simply embarrassing. Bro, why is Bronya just turning around like this, Bronya? Relax. They can easily and sincerely accept now. Let's get back on track. This means that we can at least meet Durandal and the rest after we break out of this bubble universe and consider our next course of action. But Durandal also mentioned a concern regarding Dr. May. Kiana told the other two that Durandal and Schrodinger surmised that Dr. May was hiding something. If she feels like that something is amiss, then we should look for Dr. May and clarify this issue. Now that I think about it, where's the Hersha of sentience? She should be with Dr. May. At least she hasn't told us her current situation through our linked consciousness. In that case, we'll probably see quite a spectacle later. You mean when the Hersha of sentience finds out about this suspicion? There's nothing more she hates than being deceived. I've also had mixed feelings about Dr. May. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party, Kiana. You had mixed feelings about Dr. May? Welcome to 4 or 5 years ago, when everyone fucking thought that. Absolute idiot. When Fu Hua was still part of the 13 Flame Chasers, Dr. May was the real leader of the Moths. I'm afraid that Dr. May is somewhat of an old acquaintance of to the Hersha of Sentience. Then it seems like Dr. May can read her very well, but if Dr. May has something to hide from her, and from us, Perhaps it is not for personal gain, but for rather a depressing reason. I feel like I can guess how she would answer our question. Let's ask her about what's really going on. Okie dokie. Bronya third wheelin'? Nah. Bronya is the best. Screw Mei and Kiana. They're both cringe. Bronya all the way. Oh. Jesus Christ. All you did was spawn in 3 chariots and my PC crashed almost. Jesus Christ, game. Relax. It ain't that deep. It ain't that deep, bro. 2. Alright, we'll use it. We'll use it. Big bang. Damn, doesn't... Bro, Herrscher of Human Ego weak now? What the hell? I didn't one-shot him? The fuck? I one-shot that, though? Jesus Christ. Oh my god, how many enemies do you want to spawn? I didn't sign up for combat. I signed up for goddamn story here. I feel like I've been lied to. Where is Dr. May? Oh, there we are. This old fossil is going to get hurt and knocked out. Oh, they're planning. What a dummy. Even being tricked by Otto, what's his name, into going to Europe. Oh, no. Oh, Dr. May asked about how Fu Hua was doing. That's kind of a nice touch. Dr. May kind of trying to care about something. I think this Otto isn't an ordinary person. Great observation, May. Great observation. If we could, by chance, just go back a few chapters, you can really tell how unordinary that guy is. Like, very, very extraordinary. It'd be better if he was. Forget it, the jerk's a world leader his whole life, but the only thing he cares about is a girl that's been dead for 500 years. The summary of all of Honkai's story. That Herrscher of Sentient summarizes the whole of the first, like, 25 chapters of Honkai. In, like, or 27 or whatever, in just 3 words, or essentially 3 fucking words. Jerk, world leader, 500 years. You know, they say in the end, it was a life for a life, all to save that one girl. Now tell me, what's with that? That's why Prometheus detected such an energy spike large enough to affect the world, even before the final Herrscher descent. Oh. Prometheus detected that Otto did some shit. But people can't come back from the dead. To do that, he'd have to turn back time. Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell her? How can you have anything nice to say about him? You just haven't met him and seen how awful he really is. I'll have to take your word for it. Dr. May, Sentience, we've returned. We were just about finished going over the last 50,000 years of history. Sorry for making you wait. At any rate, the preparations for activating the hush should be finished. This is step 1. But it looks like you have something else to ask. That's right, during preparations, I received a communique. What the fuck's a communique? Or whatever, from the outside world. My friends are currently being forced to the real world's moon by Project Stigma, and what's really a coincidence is, some of them are involved in experiments connecting the real world with what you call the end. Oh, I see. You haven't told us the truth about this bubble universe, have you? Now this is where May punches May. Let's go. May punch May. Of course she hasn't. You ought to know, when things are complicated, hiding something isn't deceit so much as sorting. The world is too complex to be understood, but sorting allows us to ignore what's unimportant and predict some of the world's inner workings. That's the essence of physics. Pressing X to doubt that one, but fair enough. Alright, are you telling me you didn't hide anything on purpose? Yes, because to you, those details aren't important, they're just trivial things. But since I was asked in earnest, I'll answer in earnest. We do not need a misunderstanding between us. What I admitted was that when everyone connects with the imaginary side, the likelihood of the bubble universe going along with isn't high. Even if it were possible, the lack of portals would cause the bubble universe to fuse with this world. Prometheus and I would disappear. I knew it. I knew it. May knew that there's a high chance of death. Disappear? She stared deeply at the bridge Kiana had repaired. Do you remember how the bridge was before? After the bubble universe had become a tool, both the intact and collapsed states of that bridge came in conflict, resulting in what you see now. Kiana's ability to contact friends on the outside should have a relationship with using the Herrscher Void's powers to fix the bridge. Correct, my friend told me. From our perception of three-dimensional space, we must be in the same coordinates as the moon. Makes sense? Kevin sealing you here with Project Stigma will cause the bubble universe to float up, causing this result. In fact, even the core of our plan, that husk, is the result of Project Stigma choosing our bubble universe. Didn't you also question Prometheus about how things can disappear in the Sea of Quanta? Did we? You mean to say that even if we don't do anything, the bubble universe will eventually fuse with the outside world? Exactly. What's the point of us being here then? You might even get back to the moon, but by then, Project Stigma will be complete and your Herrscher core will likely give out. See, the fate of the bubble universe isn't as important for you, no? Oh, so it is deceit. So it's not sorting, it is deceit. Her talking about sorting and deceit, absolutely irrelevant, it is deceit. You mean you want to treat us like tools, like that world serpent or whatever? That's exactly what she's doing, Herrscher said it's. Let me tell you right now, it's exactly, like, nothing is really all that important to May. None of you. Absolutely none of you are important to her. You can see us however you like, but the reality is the same. Time is against you, whether you're facing Kevin or Project Stigma. You're always like this, aren't you? To others, to Kevin, even to yourself, always cold and unfeeling. True, that's why nobody likes her. Excessive emotion can be dangerous in my line of work. Imagine a general at war. If he knows anything, he loves each of his soldiers deeply. Still, he must turn his soldiers into numbers on papers for logistics. Without that kind of work, we'd be unable to harness science's power. This is the inevitable contradiction between human nature and reality. To be fair, we must adopt a uniform standard for all. The cruelty your era must face is actually on the other side of things. Rather than pitying the fate of history, you should be leading the future. I find this whole in all since the Flame Chasers have become relevant, this whole like talk about your era must face the other shit and whatnot. Whenever they mention other eras, I just find that ironic because it's like this 50,000-year-old woman is trying to tell the current gen people what to do. It's kind of just ironic a bit. Just kind of ironic. You failed, May. Listen, let's just be honest, May. You fucking failed. Now you're trying to affect another era. I just find it weird. I just find that very weird. That's the mission. But there's more to life than the mission. We do well to remember that. Oh, that's simple enough. There's still some time before Prometheus is finished with preparations. We should learn all from a certain someone and hold a tea party. Serious? Help me turn on live view 1. Alright, Doctor. I've used the bubble universe to trick our senses, much like VR. It's not a complete imaginary space like the Elysian Realm. It's hard not to get emotional suddenly seeing scenes from the realm again. So that's how the realm feels. A surreal beauty. What's so great about it? We're having a tea party with nothing decent to drink. With the wave of the Herrscher of Sentience's hand, a tea table, a tea set, and a plate full of tea cakes appeared. My powers are a bit limited at the moment, so I can only offer teas I'm familiar with, so no English black tea. But Doctor, you don't have any special abilities, so why are you able to do what I am? Prometheus and I are integral parts of the bubble universe. Do you understand that? Hollow projection and from Prometheus. As we're part of the bubble universe, we cannot leave as you can. Yeah, tea and cake. Not every day you get Yunwu tea. This isn't for Bronya. I'm not used to green tea. They can drink the tea? I thought it was imaginary. Dr. May, you don't want us to get mixed up with this bubble universe, do you? Correct, because it won't help you do what you're looking to do. It might even end in you wasting previous resources. Don't forget, time is on the side of Kevin and Project Stigma. Using the husk will get you back to your world in the shortest possible time. Doctor, I trust your judgment. It's just, on individual level, it must be difficult to watch us leave without you. What do you mean, watch us leave? Okay, if they try to make some sort of connection, like if they try to make it so Kiana actually like has like some sort of deep care for Dr. May, this is gonna be fucking cringe. If there's a chance we want to try, like, but she's dead. It's not that we can't accept what you're saying, but I need a moment to process this. Look at you three, so insensitive. A captain goes down with the ship, and what's the harm in enjoying a relaxing moment together? Kiana has much more difficult challenge than bridge maintenance ahead, doesn't she? True. I didn't expect you to be so perceptive. The creator of the vision got rid of the nostalgic elements, leaving the creation to give a smell of tea. Tough job, you need to get proper tools. What you're trying to say then? Can't be. Ah. Is it about the success rate of renormalization? Didn't you once go before Otto? Took the strength of many just to get me ready. Kiana has only used the edge of Taishuan to bypass the seal imposed by Project Stigma. This is very different from fighting Otto. How bad seems like you're not the Hersher of reason for nothing. To achieve Dr. May's goal, the edge of Taishuan is simply not enough. So Kiana, I want to arrange to have someone enter your inner world and help break the change imposed by Project Stigma. May, you should have thought about this before you fucking pushed Kevin to do the job. You should have thought 50,000 years into the future, May, you fucking idiot. Is that even possible? Of course, you're able to utilize your power through the edge of Taishuan. Others should be able to possess you and help break the chains. You guys are so antsy, I just can't relax. You're just boasting how great you were in front of Dr. May. Project Stigma is using Hersh's to restrain Hersher power. So an external Hersher's consciousness should be able to stop it. And once it's done, the Hersher's power should be restored more or less. You talk about letting other persons possess me, what exactly do you mean? It isn't difficult for a Hersher. Either the Hersher of Sentience or myself can guide you. Forget it, it'll be weird to help them do that. Just remember not to be too reserved. Kiana will have to choose either May or Bronya to help. Oh, this is gonna decide what kind of person you are. What a choice. Is this gonna have different endings? Is this gonna have different results? If it does, that's cringe. If this has different results, that's cringe. I do prefer Bronya over May, to be quite frank. Kybron underrated? I was gonna go with Bronya regardless, I don't really like May, so... It's just gonna show May butthurt. It's just gonna show me May being butthurt. Something wrong, Bronya? Of course, something's wrong. The Hersher of Sentience calling it weird. Something doesn't seem off to you. Just pick May. Oh, this game is so cringe. Just pick May. This is so cringe, dude. Just have May be the only option, you fucking idiots. Oh, that's so fucking dumb. And the two follow Dr. May to a quiet corner. Yeah. You should know that the Hershers with annular singularities like yourself can store their consciousness in their cores. Like Mr. Yang of Her from the past. I heard something similar. In fact, my consciousness once contended with another persona to control over my body, but to intentionally place a consciousness into a core, I've never done that before. You won't be doing it alone. You're both Hirsch's as long as your bodies and minds are open. One can easily enter the other's thoughts. Kiana, you just have to relax your mind and body and feel everything about right in May. And May, you'll have to use your experience of entering and leaving the Elysian realm to direct your consciousness into Kiana's body. How do I do that? Theoretically, there are many ways to do it, but let me pick the one that has the highest probability of success. Like this, then this, like that, and that's all. Not so difficult, is it? This really feels a little odd. Don't worry, and don't think of anything unnecessary. Sorry. No need to apologize. We're all girls. Keep your heart tranquil and focus on entering and receiving. This is fucking weird. They're gonna be in like a weird pose. Or some fucking... Ah, no, that's fucking weird. No. Oh, they're just holding hands. Hey King, welcome to the stream, man. Hope you're having a great day. Studies have shown that people usually perceive time slower when they are fully concentrated on something simple and monotonous. For example, at this moment only 3 minutes have passed, but these two are very anxious. For as time stretched, it showed that prolonged separation was the most important factor of what exhausted chemistry. Even if they still trust one another. It's been a while. Has May entered my thoughts? To check, Kiana added some pressure to her grip on May's hand. Her fingers remained soft and the temperature in her palm had risen. Of course, looks like we're still here. Kiana began to slowly slow her breathing. To quiet her mind, she relied on the same sleep aid techniques of that famous insomniac. Into my thought space, into my thought space, into my thought space. What are you doing, Kiana? She's making it harder to concentrate. Or are the echoes just proof that I've already entered Kiana's thought space? How could it be? What am I thinking? May was troubled with wondering whether she ought to continue or not. An urge to speak up and ask was swelling back in her mind. She has yet to realize... Sorry, May, I won't think it again. All of her hesitation and doubt became clear when their consciousness had connected. You can see what I was thinking, right? Well then, we'll just call it even. Alright, anyway, we're almost finished. Kiana's grip on May subconsciously became tighter. I don't know. Can you relax? Just glow with the flow. Glow with the glow. Oh, is this cinematic? No, it's just gonna be one of these things. They look at each other or some fucking crap. Oh my god, is that Zhongli, dude? Oh my god. Oh my god, it's Zhongli, dude. Oh, dude, flashbang. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, I'm getting flashbang. At the moment where their thoughts finally touched, becoming one and a set in. Can we? Oh god, can we get a fucking exposure lowering? Can we lower the exposure, please? In unison, they both lifted into the air like paper kites. The moment seemed to last forever, and in the blink of an eye, the two opened their eyes. Oh, thank fuck. Sheesh. I'm not sure how I feel about them just now reminiscing. I feel like this is... Maybe this is not unnecessary, but I don't overly feel like this is super necessary to this whole like flashback thing to be shown of them going to the past. Can we just have the story progress and like the moon stuff happen? Can we just do that? Mondstadt? True king. Absolute true, dude. They aren't here anymore. She gazed a few feet in front of her, where there was nothing. You met Himiko-sensei at the Theater of Domination, right? In the world recorded by the Gem of Haste. But you figure things out so quickly, you look like you can already guess what I've thought. Or I've been through, sorry. Back then, we had parted ways. I'd become the Herrscher of Flame Scion. So back on campus, you're a good class rep for Himiko-sensei. Never expected someone would call me class rep. It's spot on, isn't it? I want to ask you to help make up for a long absence, class rep. Times like this remind me of something you taught me. Don't wait for someone else to do your job. I want to tell you about a memory from that year. Where should I begin? She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and recounted it as calmly as she could. The first thing she had said to me was, Long time no see, Kiana. I really don't care. The world is dying, they say, then meanwhile they're just reminiscing about the past. We hadn't seen each other in a while, but when it comes to Himiko-sensei, I mean the others, it always felt like just yesterday. She said, you've changed a lot. If giving up that change made all the bad things go away, I'd rather just go on being Kiana, idiotka. Sounds childish. All sorts of fantasies. Maybe immaturity was a defense mechanism. No one likes to talk about final goals, but it can't be avoided. I'm the Herrscher of the Void, and nothing will change that. Already expectations that I couldn't quickly realize and had to look at it. I know this doesn't overly feel important. Who isn't like that, Kiana? Himiko-sensei has just lost touch with everyone, waiting somewhere and snoozing in an imaginary space. That would be fucking cranked. Imagine that. That would be a cranked story. Himiko's not actually dead. She just is sleeping in the imaginary space. She's like, I don't need this fucking gem bullshit. Chucks it away. And then she'll ask me if she made her appearance too suddenly. She's afraid you're not mentally prepared. But who could prepare to face something like that? Then it just becomes a permanent escape. So I couldn't help but cry in front of Himiko-sensei, and I was really crying too. That's part of growing up. What she had just said, Kiana had probably told Bronya and class president and the principal. I'm not sad, I've grown, I'm doing well. These are all the things she said, and they were all true. But she couldn't help but feel her innocence had been lost to time, as Raiden Mei's had once been. Did you know, Mei? Before she left, Himiko-sensei told me things she wanted to do, but never had the chance to. Then I realized how something seemingly insignificant can play such an important role in our lives. Yep. Himiko-sensei said she wanted to go back to St. Freya to write something on the blackboard again and go back to her room to have a drink. She wanted to try on red dresses, have some of Mei's cooking, class rep egg noodles, watch us graduate, grow up. Kiana's crying, man, it's a bit sad, but also pretty moving, isn't it? She winked at Mei and smiled as before. It's better to look back at the memories with a smile rather than tears. After all, if you shed tears when you miss the sun, you also miss the stars. Sorry? Sure, why not? Is that a poem? It's one of Tagore's poems? If you like it, I can lend you a book when we get back. Yes, okay. See you later, Kiana. I'm going back to business. I'm going back to the fucking moon. Oh shit, she's getting away. Fuck. I thought she would stop. Elysian Realm was a testing ground for World Serpent agents and a world constructed from memories and sims. The 13 heroes of the previous era rested there, including Fu Hua, Kevin, and the first Herrscher that fought for humanity. They called themselves the 13 Flame Chasers. For the past month, I've been seeking the Honkai secrets and purpose of being a Herrscher. At the end of my journey, I got the answer I wanted, but had to face a farewell I feared. To defeat the Herrscher of Corruption, the Flame Chasers, who had become Sims, They could just say, okay, this is not a foreign thing in anime and games to have a black screen wash over and have the text Kiana, or Mei told Kiana about the Flame Chasers. Just have that happen. I know everything that happens here. You couldn't just... Black screen, Mei told Kiana about the Flame Chasers. The end. This is irrelevant. They left all of us humaneness, and brought more faith to my life today. But compared to sadness, it's the touching by heart that lasts. As long as you remember us, this story will never vanish. This is what Alicia, the most beloved of them, told me. Again, I don't want to diminish this. This is great, stuff that they are talking about, but this whole process of telling each other, unimportant. It's a story full of regrets, but it's the regrets that make it everything and give me forgetfulness unforgettable. Don't be pushed around by fate. Don't be swept along by time. Don't be fearful of parting. Don't run away from death, and go toward the future I believe in no matter what. Upon reaching the end, the will they left and the beauty they protected will be passed on to successors like us. This is romance of history. 13 Flame Chasers, they sound like people with stories. And if you want to hear their stories, I can tell them for you as long as you want. Save that for never, thanks. Is this the black screen that I'm hoping for? There it is. And they walked along. Oh, they walked 20 meters. Fuck. We've been talking for a while, unfortunately. But I haven't detected any anomalies. You seem relieved. Nobody knows what real spiritual restraint is. If we engage in combat for no good reason here, our surroundings will most likely be affected. Since this sounds selfish, but I want Saint Freya to remain the way we remember it. Skip everything when you play? Honestly, how to? Just, yeah, honestly, listen to it whilst I do it, and then skip it in your own time, because holy crap. Mostly irrelevant. They're reminiscing about something, probably. Why did you have to cook such delicious food? I couldn't stop thinking about eating. Are you blaming your zoning out in class on me? I'm blaming on my stomach. It's all because it kept growling. Speaking of which, Bronya acted as if she couldn't care less about going back to the dorm. But she tried to trick me into telling what May had cooked for us a day earlier every time. I don't care. This is like a filler episode in anime. This is literally a filler episode. This is like the beach episode of every anime. You have such intense seriousness, and then there's just a random beach episode at like episode 7. It's like, I don't care. They could have just had it all like this, so I don't have to fucking click. We come to training ground before we knew it. Wouldn't be so bad if the spiritual restraint could just stay here. It's like someone here, it's not a compliant student. May, I remember you loved showing off in front of me and yelling about becoming the strongest Valkyrie. But you slept in class and instead of studying for exams, you brought game consoles to Bronya who had perfect grades. Why are you bringing up all that all of a sudden? You're getting to the part of tugging my ear. Feeling embarrassed. She tugged her ear for the first time in a long time. What is, bro, what are we in fucking Tokyo Ghoul? Why are we in Tokyo Ghoul all of a sudden, dude? Now I'm just gonna see Kaneki sitting on a chair or something. That would be fucking amazing if they just had a person sitting on a chair in the distance, and then Kaneki joins one of the joins and is the first playable male character. Now that would be perfect writing, dude. That would be perfect. I'm not a kid anymore. Of course you aren't. Now you know to be talking to the ear, reverse psychology to do what you're supposed to. You're so self-motivated that it's a tad scary. I'm a slacker compared to the people like Durandal. That said, May's words easily stirred a web from her thoughts. When the web stopped wobbling, the thread that thought mutually blah blah blah. That's right. Kiana knew full well that the day she wouldn't get around to discussing with May what they needed to talk about. After that thought, her mind fell into a deep silence like a computer powering down. And yet her mind was working overtime to rebuild everything at breakneck pace. Oh, now, are we really going to go through everything? We're actually going to go through everything. Can they get to the point? It would be nice to get to the point. Then there's Virgil in the other chair. Virgil do chairs? Oh, I didn't know Virgil was connected to chairs. You're right, Kiana. I'm fine. Good. You had no reaction like a dummy just now. After that, Saint Freya disappeared into the Sea of Darkness and was replaced by Chiba Academy. Unlike that day, there were no more thunders from the sky. Initially, I thought there would be at least be time for preparation, such as a door or a bolt of light appearing out of nowhere, and I only enter another space after touching it. This isn't a game, or have you been possessed by Bronya? I experience many things in these realms, so I can't help but develop some cognitive inertia. Why are you speaking so monotonously? Is it because we are here? You're right, Kiana. I was once afraid to recall what had happened here. An environment could greatly change and influence the people in it. Unlike in the previous thought space, she constantly hesitated over what to say and what to do and what emotions to express. Silence surrounded them and separated the two with a comfortable distance. Spiritual restraint. Looks like this isn't the place. There's nothing apart from us. Just like that day. There are differences too. For example, the atmosphere. Look, Mei, there's a hole in the metal net, perfect for admiring the view. Such a large hole. How was it made? How was it made? Well, maybe some violence involved. That's probably from when I struck you down. I like the honesty there, Mei. Oh, it's probably from when I just beat the shit out of you, actually. I think the hole was made when I beat the living shit out of you, Mei. Or Kiana. I see, that's why I don't remember. But it gives Chiba Academy Observation Deck a higher star rating, doesn't it? I mean, it's a panoramic view. That's really how Kiana thinks. The view's not the only good thing. The wind feels so comfortable. What a pity that back then we weren't in a mind to admire all these. Then let's make up for all that at once. I don't think we will have the next spatial change for a while. If I'm not wrong, those changes are associated with my emotional fluctuations, but I'm not sure if it's related to my emotions or the magnitude of fluctuations. Since we're moving in your thought space, playing by ear may be the best. After all, they spoke no further and simply gazed into the distance. Normally, most people would prefer to avoid silence between conversation, as if it were a pair of scissors, they would snip the friendship apart. Conversations would lose their meanings after too much silence. But for them, some silence ironically helped to merge their thoughts and experience each other's emotions. I just want to say your name. Ugh. Actually, that day I initially thought that I had many things that I didn't manage to tell you. But after that, I suddenly realized that it's not about saying something, because there's no way that Mei wouldn't know what I was thinking. It's the same for me too. When I first arrived at World 7, I could barely sleep at all. I knew why, but I couldn't do anything about it, so I used that time to reflect. What I thought about the most was how we could have avoided that unnecessary fight. For example, if we had talked to each other calmly. Oh, that's a great one, Mei. If we just did the obvious thing and just talked. Oh, well, Mei, you're really discovering new things, aren't you? It's almost like you're a functioning adult. But in the end, I couldn't find the best possible solution. You wanted me to stay and I wanted to save you. Neither of us were wrong. Since neither was wrong, it'll be hard to convince each other with mere words. Since neither was wrong, it was inevitable for us to have taken some extreme measures. Perhaps this is growth. Now we still hold the same beliefs, but we need to persuade each other. We don't need to persuade each other anymore. Maybe this difference is a form of propriety. If we could open up our hearts like we did back then, when we were having sweet pepper curry, when we were in Arc City, at least those discourses would have been less agonizing. True. But on the contrary, if not for that impulse, maybe we wouldn't have experienced this growth or matured to who we are today. So your conclusion is that our fight was worth it. Mei shouldn't use violence in school. We should resolve this with a pillow fight. The two laughed knowingly. Why is Kiana narrating? Kiana, you're not the narrator. Is she? Jesus Christ, I got no problem with it. It's their reunion. They finally resolved some stuff after 15 chapters. It's just not necessary. You can have that happen in a filler chapter. This is a main chapter. This is a main chapter. They can do this in an X chapter. And it's just, I don't know, it's just out of place with what's happening right now. The world is actually just ending. It's like if they, at the, mid-fight during, in AFO 2, during the fight against, whatever the fucking big motherfucker's name is, if Mei and Bronya just met each other and they were like, oh, Mei, Bronya, oh, let's have a chat. It's like, well, we've got better things to do right now. I feel like there's much more important things to be doing right now. They could skip through all this and be like, yeah, now they're of like mind, and then get on with the process of the story. Because, like, this is such filler stuff. But this is obviously this is gacha fan service, so whatever, I don't fucking give a shit. I don't valid, like, this is diminishing the chapter for me. They looked at each other, they clearly felt the intangible wall that once separated them. The last of it had finally disappeared, along with their laughters. May. Back then, when I just returned to Helios, there was a lot of things I said, decisions I made that I buried deep in my heart and did alone. All of those others, you were the one that I was most unwilling to share with, and that leads us to splitting up. She suddenly stopped talking as though an invisible gag had been placed over her mouth. After going over the words in her head, she began to speak again. I know your mood can change a lot when facing the same issues I face, but you rarely show it. Instead, you've always accepted me quietly and given me guidance whenever I need, from the first day we met until now. Fight for all that is beautiful in the world. This is my mission and my promise to Himiko. And in my heart, you're the most special part of all the beautiful things in the world. And that's why I hope you can care about yourself more than me and the world, or all the world. She was slightly relieved after saying this. She could never forget the words once said to her, "You are more important than the world." And she had been waiting for an opportunity to respond, not that she needed to, but she wanted to. She knew if she spoke her mind, it wouldn't be the answer Mei wanted to hear the most. But at this moment, she still wanted to let Mei know how she felt in this way. What are your thoughts right now, Mei? She took a moment to rehearse what she said, or what she would say in her head. I believe more often than not, what we do is in contradiction to what we think. The world doesn't allow us to choose what we want the most. Maybe in the near future, I might be faced with another hard decision that could decide our fate. When it happens, I might not be as steadfast as before. I might hesitate and think long and hard, because the weight of everything in the world is also changing as we move forward together. But the bottom line is, the person who restored my faith in the world and convinced me there were still things worth fighting for is you, Kiana. Kiana didn't know what to say. A few seconds later, she finally came up with the most official reply she could think of. Thanks, Mei. You're equally important to me too. I'm happy to hear that. Kiana felt greatly relieved and the web of thoughts started to dance, before she realized the view had shifted again. It's calm before a storm, I'm fine with it. Fair enough, dude, fair enough. If there's no happy times, there will be no sadness? Not necessarily, no. Not necessarily. This is not, I wouldn't classify this as a happy time. This is just a time happening. Like, you can view this as a happy time, but it's not, like, overly happy. They're just, nothing incredible is happening. It's just talking about past events. Really, that's all this is. They're just recounting chapter 15, chapter 27, chapter 5. They're just recounting old chapters. And just saying, oh yeah, that was a tough time. And then kind of plastering on the thing of, oh, this is the two characters coming into, like becoming closer. And it's like, oh, fair enough, dude, but whatever. The world has changed again. Kiana looked around her, but what is this place? Looks like Nagazora only... Maybe this is my memory. It could be my presence has an impact on the mind space centered around you. Remember when you tried to shut down the imaginary singularity Nagazora riding Benares? You were attacked by imaginary constructs. And this is where Benares fell, trying to protect me who was chasing you. She took a fatal blow from Husk. And that was when her awareness scattered. This is how Kurikara came to be. Benares, no better call her Bella. When fighting the Hersher of the Void, Bella stood on my side many times. Without her help, I couldn't have conquered my inner demon and defeated the Hersher of the Void. But as an illusion in the Hersher core, she was gone along with her summoner. I owe her a thank you. Me too. Looking back now, she saved me for the very simple reasons. I was your friend, and she knew you'd be sad if I got hurt, or it could be because we both reminded her of Siren. She did everything for simple reasons, and that's why it wouldn't be fair to judge her for anything particular she did. From an outsider's point of view, there's no absolute evil nor pure good. We can say both Bella and Siren were slaves of Honkai and prisoners of fate, and perhaps the same can be said for the World Serpent and Kevin. If Project Stigma means to bring an everlasting dreamland, it's no different from making everyone in the world a prisoner of fate, or even worse. Kiana clenched her goddamn hands. Being held prisoner in a dream space built by someone else, Kiana was no stranger to such an experience. She knew exactly how terrible it felt. As an organization, World Serpent claims their mission is to help humanity break free from its miserable fate. But, when we look at the outcome, as the continuation of the dark side of the Moths, it has never cared about the fate of common people, only civilization matters to it. Suppose we're all faced with the latter. Ascend to the top and we can confront Honkai face to face. The better feud between Shixel and Anti-Entropy was created on the way up. In World Serpent, it tries to take shortcut using knowledge and tech from the previous era while ignoring the thorny ladder and the suffering mass. Its eyes are always fixed on the top, and that's why it never pays any attention to the people struggling to inch upward. So what we should do seems clear now. We'll cut the thorns and clear the path with everyone. You're right. It's evident that we have major differences with World Serpent when it comes to how to defeat Honkai. The challenge for us is to find a better solution than theirs. It's a tough challenge, but a worthy one. World Serpent believes it can go beyond finality to reach the future. Who says we can't do better? Where there's a will, there's a way. May lowered her eyes and touched her blade. As if alive, the handle became warm and glowed red faintly. You agree too, right, Bella? Watch out! The conversation was suddenly interrupted by a huge blade dropping from the sky. Reminded by Kiana, May drew her blade. She knew clearly that was their goal coming here. The real spiritual restraint. Interesting. I see this moment as more than that. Hey dude, fair enough. Fair enough if you want. In the end, it doesn't take away from the fact that this is literally a filler thing because there is much more important things going on than them reminiscing. Can't really deny that. It is the end of the world literally happening and they're just talking about the past. Which, I'm not saying remove it, I'm saying it doesn't need to be a 20-minute thing. I am failing all my dodges. Mihoyo's no stranger to using, like, a black screen just and quick text to summarize a zone or summarize a scene. They're not foreign to doing that. Oh my god, there's a fucking... Holy shit. Oh, there's a bug in my room. How do I kill this? Hold up. I'm getting a bug. Ah! Is it dead? I think it's dead. Hold it. Let me confirm. Kill confirm. Yeah, it's dead. Oh. Nope. I've been thinking for a while now. P had everything. Tech, super smart people, and they can't beat the Honkai, and then C have a lesser version of those. Somehow they can end the war. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, it's because willpower. The power of friendship. Do you not know? The power of friendship and just being the new generation. I didn't get these versions in the fucking thing. That's cringe. Your Herrscher powers seem to have come back, May. So have yours. Not exactly, but anyway, it's much better than when I first came here. Project Stigma is so overrated. She moved her body around and felt strength running through. Even her reflexes improved. But I could say it wouldn't have been this easy without you. And we couldn't have done it without Bronya and Herrscher Sentience and Dr. May. You haven't changed at all. Speaking of, May stopped abruptly. May? Where May looked and where the imaginary construct vanished, a massive light emerged. Looks like the exit of the mind space. So that's what you were anticipating. I wouldn't say I was anticipating. I'd like to stay with you for a little bit longer here. It wouldn't be easy for us to be with each other like this once we get out. They stood by the light for a long and didn't step ahead. Behind the exit were unknown challenges and imminent crisis. Just like the last time, the clock would start to tick the second they left. They need to break the restraints Project Thema put on the Herschers first, and then confront Kevin Kaslana and maybe the finality lurking behind him. We've got a lot to do, and a lot more than that. So it's time to say goodbye now. After seconds of silence, someone moved. She took the hand of the other and said something she had rehearsed in her heart time and again. Fair enough. More advanced tech and Alicia make the sacrifice where Hershey in the next area won't be tied to the Honkai to destroy the world. That's why Sandy and Kiana can do whatever the fuck they want. But they didn't. The previous era didn't do it that well, did they? No, because the problem's still here. Power of friendship and plot armor. True. Don't lower show. You just said yourself they can do anything. True. Does it honestly, like, if you really think about it, like the previous era is incredibly much more powerful than the current era by every stretch of the mean, yet they failed. It's undeniable to say that the current era is gonna win this through the power of friendship and some sort of plot armor. Like, that's just undeniable. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's objective truth. What does it feel like to fall from a dream? This time, Kiana got a new answer, the warm touch of a close one. Her sense of touch came back to her first. Coming back from the mind space, the first thing Kiana felt was her hands in May's. Then her sense of smell, the moon on the surface of dry artificial air. May's fragrance was so special. And then her hearing. After a moment of silence, two girls burst into laughter at the same time. Such a special experience. Felt like we were in there for a long time. I think it was too short, just the length of a dream. The dream had them both dreamed of countless nights, only it wasn't a dream. At least this time from now, it's not a dream anymore. Our future is not in the dream. We have enough time to make it come true. After that, we'll have plenty of time to enjoy life. Durandal is watching me closely and haven't had any ice cream for a month. She's doing the right thing. Look at you, obviously your power is fully restored. This is me at my best. I couldn't feel any better. What about you, May? It feels like at least half of my strength is back, but she shifted her hand and put it down quietly. Kurikara didn't answer her call like it always done. As the invader of my mind space, of the mind space, I'm yet to recover my full combat capacity. That's disappointing. Well, from now on, Kiana the Knight will protect May the Princess. Makes sense, and we better let the host send in support at the front line. I was kidding. We're the best team ever, even when you're not 100% yourself. I'm really happy to fight by your side. And so am I. Next, just as Dr. May said, we're going up against another husk. Speaking of it, where are they? It wasn't until the two took their eyes off each other and started to look at the surroundings. Maybe it was to help them immerse themselves in the mind space, or maybe it was to avoid embarrassment. Anyway, Dr. May was not there to guide them. Maybe they moved out. Anyway, let's go to the agreed location. Sure. Oh, Bronya's there. There's more reason why they can do the plot armor they did, unlike the usual plot armor that came out of nowhere. Well, this is predetermined plot armor. Again, because Alicia sacrificed, even the evil Hershers can do whatever they want and not just destroy humanity only. In summary, yes, it is plot armor, but it makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Well, all plot armor makes sense. It's the main character. You know, all plot armor makes sense, but it doesn't make it a good writing tool. Are you guys done? Thanks for waiting, Bronya. For such a celebratory progress, Bronya's wait was worthwhile. They're winning because they're the main characters. That's plot armor. How do you feel, Kiana? Ready to take on the husks? Of course, I'm more ready. Just kidding. Actually, I'm missing something. Her sword. I'm missing something. Simply relying on May isn't enough. We'll need Bronya's wisdom. Frankly speaking, that's Bronya's forte. Maybe she has a weapon, who knows. Bronya laughed. Actually, this was another reason that they had coincidentally chose to let May break Kiana's psychological shackles. For the Hostra reason, who represented civilization, the ease of replication relied on understanding of the item. When it came to simple support skills, using a tenth of her powers would be enough. In fact, for the predecessor, Welt Yang, in his life as a Hersher, his sync rate with his core was never above half. Of course, as everyone knew, that didn't stop him from becoming a hero. And knowledge and judgment are the strongest weapons for everyone. So please guide me along our smartest mind. Of course, Bronya won't let you down. And that reminds me. What's wrong, Bronya? Well, this is late, but... Welcome back, Kiana. Clap, clap, two crisp sounds, and applause seemingly brought everything back to the past. Oh, I thought there was gonna be another fucking thing. Standing between the ruined walls, Mei seemed to have become one with the dead silent environment. After sending Mei into Kiana's mind space, she had been standing there, not moving an inch. Doctor needed me to investigate the environment. According to my preliminary analysis, the environment hasn't changed at all. Thanks, Prometheus, but that won't be necessary. I'd like to take in everything with my own eyes. At this moment, the cold and motionless Mei had finally began to notice the view around her and exude something similar to fondness. Even if you keep the view in your memory, it won't last for long. Prometheus, are you complaining? Doctor, to improve computing efficiency, my motion modules weren't fully installed. I wasn't complaining, I was stating a fact. But I expect more of an opinion rather than a fact from you, number 17. Oh, they're back. The three came before Mei and didn't know what to say. And so you're ready. I guess it's time to say goodbye to each other. Dr. Mei, the moment we leave the Bumble universe, we may leave behind a fleeting singularity. There's no guarantee. But if you could seize the opportunity and reshape your form of existence, there might be a way to keep you existent in the proper world. It's too much of a hypothesis. If we really mean to make it true, we'd need extraordinary luck. To be precise, for Dr. Mei, the probability of success using this method is close to a constant determined by the uncertainty principle, which is about the negative 34th power of 10. The Planck constant, that's to say. It's only natural. To deceive the world, we must accept unfavorable odds. In the story of the Herrscher of Sentience told me, the Schicksal Overseer who did something similar, you know very clearly how much trouble he went through and how high of a price he paid. She didn't go on. If time permitted, she'd like to talk more with these promising young minds. But as a shadow from the past and one who initiated Project Sigma, she knew better than anyone the importance of time. No need to feel guilty, even if you didn't show up. Neither body nor this bubble universe can hold for long as soon as time begins to flow. Compared with 50,000 years, the difference between 4 days or 40 days is almost neglectable. So let's say goodbye and be on our way, just like Santi did. She has respected my choice from the very beginning. Of course, her words were emotional. I never thought that the Herrscher sharing Kua's memory in the proper world would have such an interesting character. Makes me want to hear, or makes me want to meet your Fuhua even more. But it matters not, because you'd say hello to her for me, right? Blah, 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 blah. Don't be like this, Mei. You once accepted the end of the Elysian realm, right? How did you know this? Because I see marks left by Elysia on you. I believe in you as the successor of the Moth's will. You know what everyone did wouldn't be in vain. I have faith in you, just like I have faith in Kevin. I feel like I've seen a lot of the departures lately. But they're worthwhile, right? When they named the organization the Moths, it probably didn't occur to them that compared to the flame-chasing moths, they were more like the flame keeping the... Fuck me, this is so weird to read. They were more like the flames keeping the path lit. Mobius, it's indeed a good name. A respectable name. That's enough. Don't dwell on the dust already settled in the past, try to make your way to the future. Okie dokie. What's this fucking, like, a JoJo bullshit happening here? Project Sigma exists to codify the world. If you remember that, you can find a way to use your Herrscher power to change it. And then light the king codify. I don't even know what the fucking word means. So that is the responsibility of those who are the Herrscher of human. There's shitty plot armor that doesn't make sense. There's good one that have a reason why they got plot armor, at least in my opinion. Sure, why not? Whatever. Must flashbang every chance, true. Fucking, there is that right there. Didn't make much sense, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Can we go now? It's time to challenge the husk and return to our own world. Let's get to it then. She actually had her eyes on Mei in the distance. Saves me the trouble of more useless words. Saying goodbye is a total waste of time. She finished what she meant to say in her heart. After all, enough was said 50,000 years ago. Let's beat it. The Herrscher of Sentience. Let's go. Oh, level 13. Nice. I'll use the energy stored in the bubble universe and guide Kiana to restore the complete existence of the husk. You only get one chance. I advise you to prepare for battle. Alright, let's do this. Won't be wasting my time, just get it done. Okay, let's go. I know you can do it, Kiana. Now imagine that, right? Imagine that you're facing the all-powerful false god Otto. What is this? What? You have to put an end to his infinity and confine his vitality to be finite. That's right. Choose battle difficulty. Hard. Oh. Oh, it's shitty Bronya. Lol. Oh no. I don't know how to use this Bronya. Add additional unit to energy supply. Intimidation. Wait, what am I attacking here? Uh-huh. Okay. That's kind of cool. This won't be a boss, though. Oh, he's transformed into a bigger thing. Okay. That's fun. That's fun. Being stunned perpetually, that's pretty cool. Jesus Christ, you are annoying. Jesus fucking Christ, this is annoying. Imagine being just constantly stunned. I love being constantly stunned. That's why it's my favorite mechanic in the rest of the game. Oh wait, there isn't that many in the rest of the game. Massive energy fluctuations, destroy Nicholas seeds. I have to use Kiana? Oh, for fuck's sake. What the fuck? What? That was dog shit. Okay. Oh damn, is that another is that the first bot in like 20 years? That's fair enough. It's over. It's over. Now then. The girl held her breath and captured the veins that remained in the space due to the husk. You've become quite skilled. This many will do. Now then, could this door be? As you've sensed, this is the passage to the proper world and our last struggle for existence. That fight was definitely something. That probably won't be added to the game that way. That was pretty shit. That was a pretty shit fight. Alright, Prometheus. You've done everything you can. From now on, we can only rely on our strength and take a risk. Is that all you say? No May? Bro, where's May at? Alright. Ready? We're going back. Of course. I'm gonna get a lift with you guys. Sit tight then. So many fucking flashbangs, dude. Holy shit. Please, my eyes. The other side of the 50,000 years. Sushang, are you alright? If you're tired, you can go back to New Atra and get some rest. I was meditating. Meditating, the training method Kiana used? It's a common way to train in Shenzo. No, the entire East, actually. Legend has it, ascension to godhood can be achieved through meditation. It may be exaggerated, but it does broaden your mind and sharpen your senses. Indeed, to improve my command of Sumeru, I sometimes do something similar. That's why you all look so calm and collected. I think it's a misunderstanding. The reason why I go meditating is that I've lost my inner peace. Durandal, how long do we have to wait here? We only came 2 hours ago. You're such a patient one. As soon as I think of Kiana and the others trying to find a way back, every minute becomes torture. If I knew we were going to wait for 2 hours here... Before she finished, the ground began to shake violently. Meanwhile, everything in her eyes started to blink and wiggle like stirred up soup bubbles. Soap bubbles, not soup bubbles, whoops. The ties between two worlds changed. On the other side, she began... the beacon named Reality began to spread and sink like ink in water, blurring the boundaries between worlds. In blinding white light, familiar figures emerged. Kiana-san! They look so much better when they're drawn. I'll be honest with you. I don't like Durandal's outfit when it's like in character form or like when it's a 3D model. But when it's drawn as 2D, I think it looks fucking great. Even though you can barely see it, it just looks better. Kiana, finally we meet again. Glad to see you okay. Yes, Durandal, we meet again. That's great. That is just great. Durandal, did something happen? Bewildered, Kiana looked at her hands tightly held by Durandal's. It wasn't until now Durandal realized. She was acting too weirdly compared with her usual calm self, and it's because Durandal has extra information. Sorry, that wasn't appropriate. As she spoke, hesitation flashed over her eyes. It was gone instantly and followed by a relieved smile. Anyway, the important thing is you came back. It's been a while, Miss Raiden and Miss Zacic. The same to you. Long time no see, Miss Atejina and Miss Lee. Bronya's eyes dwelt on Seely and vice versa. Great, everything and everyone is fine. Finally able to relax her worries, Seely began to look tired. Please take a short break nearby, we'll march on later. After the bubble universe from 50,000 years was merged, we should be able to continue exploring. Let's get some rest and exchange intel. But what will we run into going forward? Maybe only Kevin knows. Maybe it's Kevin. I don't know. Maybe. Still, it's better to avoid him. Raksha said if the man was fully recovered, even Taishuan at its prime wouldn't be able to stop him. Weren't you bragging about how powerful you were all the time? You're afraid to face this Kevin guy now? The disappeared Hersha re-emerged before Li Susheng and started to taunt her. She wasn't interested in the team talk, but changed her mind just a moment ago. Master? No, you're not her. You look like her, though. You're the Hersha of Sentience. You've got a problem with that? In the face of the intimidating Hersha of Sentience, even Li Susheng didn't know what to say. I feel that Senti doesn't really see eye to eye with Susheng. Was it because back in Colliston? Before she could finish, her lips were muffled by a quick hand. Ooh. Don't try to make it worse, idiotka. Luckily, the Hersha of Sentience didn't press further. She shrugged casually to show how forgiving she was. And you lot too. Kevin has taken away all of your confidence, huh? I can go even against him myself. What are you afraid? I'm sure you can, Herrscher. What are you afraid of? Go even. He did hold himself back, but I also had a few trump cards up my sleeve. Ahem. Anyhow, in the battle, if the battle is imminent? If the battle is imminent? You mean imminent, not eminent? Pretty sure they're looking for imminent. What's the point of emphasizing how tough the enemy is? First of sentience, exactly because we don't fear Kevin, we can now talk about our gap in strength candidly. I can't tell the difference. I've got a good plan. She started to grin wickedly. Once we remove the source of your fear, there won't be any trouble anymore. It's just a walk in the park for me to sneak behind his back and, as someone who fought him head on, you know it won't work well. Or at all. At least I know I'm the one trying to solve the problem. I'm just trying to teach you that the true warrior, the first thing to do is conquer your fear and... fear? Why does it go ominous all of a sudden? Maybe she failed to find the right word, but something that happened somewhere else took her by surprise. She suddenly froze and her eyes went wide if she saw something impossible. It was then followed by a low curse. Bastard, you sure know how to make trouble. Seems to me you're the troublemaker here. The Herrscher Sens didn't reply. Just like every sudden appearance and disappearance, she became immersed in white light. Herrscher Sens, what are you doing? I'm not wasting my time on psychological counseling for you losers. But where are you off to? Don't ask. You can't follow me anyway. As soon as she finished speaking, she vanished into thin air. This one has got some personality. No. Did she mean... Of course. Just now, a mighty force surged up from the moon's surface facilities like a hurricane, telling the invaders its invincibility. Durandal, May, and Bronya were no strangers to this force. Kevin, he is down the path. And Fu Hua. Oh yes, that picture at the in the fucking what was it? The special program thing. Everything transistory is only approximation. What could not be achieved here comes to pass. Despair is a curious feeling. In face of unstoppable enemies, people weren't desperate. When everything brilliant and glorious vanished, people weren't either. The moment of despair came when the greatest feats were accomplished. So that's why you are so vulnerable, lonely, and desperate. You're looking for your final resting place, aren't you, Kevin? The man kept silent, but Fu Hua didn't press on. She was waiting for the silence to prove it and vindicate the value of her arrival. I won't deny it. A desperate win is a win still. Kevin, I'm gonna have to break it to you. But if you're so desperate to win, I'm just gonna count you as an absolute L man. She sighed softly. Well then, since you've imprisoned every Herrscher, why leave me out? You should know the Herrscher Sentence's core is still within me. No, why? No, why? No. I'm trying to figure out what this means. No, why? No. No, comma, why? No, full stop, why? No, why? No, why? After all, you are you. I feel like that was the wrong no. Fu Hua expected the answer, but hearing it still surprised her. This man had been alone for too long that people forgot he needed friends too. Indeed. For example, I came here to give you recognition as Hua. You fulfilled the Moth's vision. You're about to lead humanity to win in the war against Honkai. I must give you that as Hua. As Hua, I see. If that's my only identity, things would be much easier. That's not your fault. Between there was a huge gap. Between where? Between the past? True. A huge gap of 50,000 years. Kevin, you were once my teammate. On the battlefield, you were the leader I looked up to. I must say though, we didn't share the same ideal. I didn't have the courage to face up to you. In the past, I got Sue wrong. He said, not being able to die when finality befell, this is Kevin's greatest regret. Back then, I thought it only involved Dr. May. But today, I have come to a better understanding of the regret. The moment you became the victor, you'll also kill your old self, the bearer of deliverance with your own hands. You know it. We must win. The silence of finality rose with the man. Mei entrusted Project Ember to you. Then Nuxi and Nuar and Fuxi rather sacrificed, and we thought Project Ember had failed. Thousands of years later, we lost contact with the Ark that sailed out again. So I decided to seize the first execution window of Project Stigma. I'd accomplish our mission at relatively minimal cost when a new Hersha hasn't been born and the new population had surpassed hundreds of millions. As you know, Sue stopped me. Rather than have hundreds of millions of people die at that time, we wanted to gamble. Or he wanted to gamble. Gamble that Project Volca would find the perfect answer before the fated finality. I hope he did. Now's the second and last window of Project Stigma. The 12 Hershers we predetermined have all descended, and we can save the most survivors at relatively maximum cost. But if Sue has found his answer, then your ember has never been extinguished. On the contrary, it will still be burning from now and cleanse the history of all sins. So Fu. Surprisingly, he began calling her by her new name. Friend or foe, pick your side. No regrets, my old friend. Fuck, we're jumping back and forth between a lot of fucking things here. No regrets, my old friend. Along a familiar path, Prometheus and Dr. May met for the last time. After hearing May's answer, Prometheus became briefly unresponsive. After calling sizable knowledge, she still could not decipher the state of affairs. No regrets, huh? Even if we can't communicate outward and your plan has failed. Plan. Like the original me, aware of everything and in control of everything, but will still perish after paving the way for others. Do you think I should still feel resentment? That is a painful experience, at least for humans. But you know, that's not what I'm talking about. The accusation you made against me. That I'm using those children as my leverage over betraying the world. If you're talking about the reason I said those harsh words, then yes. The process of merging is irreversible, but according to my calculations, it's supposed to begin in at least 40 days. Which is to say, with your wisdom, you successfully pushed your world to destruction 40 days earlier, more like a bubble universe that only has you and me though. This is necessary for humanity itself. Does such necessity include today? Even if those Hershers have adequate reasons to stop Project Stigma, they don't need to hurry back to the proper world today. According to my calculations, another viable strategy is to have them secretly regain their powers here. This won't delay the process. But you've been suggesting that time is pressing from the beginning. I thought there was a deeper consideration, but... Doctor, are you acting impetuously? That's a word. In the past, when we could move freely, on this day every year, no matter what business you have at hand, you'd leave it behind, come here alone, but do nothing. Since you prioritize this above all else, I can infer that being in the moment when the merge is completed is crucial for you. But given the trend, the errors are ultimately uncontrollable, and you and I will disappear entirely before the merge is completed. Salvation is even more of a wishful thinking. So even without knowing the details, I can tell this is a mortifying result for you. The time you pursued will become meaningless, which is why I said your plan has failed. I can't tell who's smarter in this situation, but I'm just gonna go with neither of them are smart. I'm pleased, Prometheus. Excluding the details that you couldn't have known, you've seen through me on your own. But I'm afraid I don't have enough time to make you understand. Damn, time is relevant. Details I couldn't have known? They happened a very long time ago. When I inferred that the Herstra finality might cleave some bubble universes off the proper world, I immediately shared it with Kevin. Of course, he didn't understand. Understandable. He doesn't even have a bachelor's degree. Kevin's a fucking idiot. He doesn't even have a bachelor's? Oh my god, Kevin. Oh, come on, dude. Why is he on the team then? Main character my ass who doesn't even have a bachelor's degree. Fucking imbecile. Well, that's not what she meant actually, apparently. Yeah, my bad. He didn't understand a thing about theories, but this helped him discover something I didn't. On that basis, he raised a speculation and made me a promise. He said if any one of us survives the finality, that person must come here on the day I met him yearly, which is today, and be alone for a day. What's the meaning of that? It's a simple thought. If bubble universes were created by the finality's world destruction, then he thought maybe if we, in bubble universes, might remember this promise too. Such is the meaning of this day. Across endless space and time, we may accompany another that has lost everything in the dark. So after learning about the proper world, you began manipulating the time when the merge will occur. You want the Kevin in the proper world to see you one last time before you disappear, even if you have almost no chance of success. I think we predicted this last time, didn't we? I made some sort of prediction like this. It was like, they're gonna see each other. It's gonna be like a Romeo-Juliet situation. Where like one of them, they're both like alive but not really, and then like one of them sees the other before they die or some shit. I must point something out. For someone who has Cosmic Juggernaut, all this is meaningless. If he so desires, he can do it voluntarily anytime. The fact that his World Serpent contacted us to be his tool indicates his worldview is no longer innocent and ignorant. And you, Dr. May, you set the direction for today simply because of this irrational commitment. In terms of logic, you are blind. Get fucking wrecked. Well, you're supposed to think this way. You won't blame an action's meaning, but its efficiency. In your opinion, I should have been absolutely rational from the beginning to end, right? Many people have described us as such. If Prometheus is an integration of all knowledge, then May is the thinking through which gods process knowledge. Prometheus is the integration of all knowledge. Then May is the thinking through which gods process knowledge. Fair enough. But thought, unlike knowledge, must serve a purpose. This is why I hope you would see through me and understand me on your own someday. Are you trying to say you've always been emotional and it's only your methods that have been absolutely rational? No. Once again, Prometheus became unresponsive. Are you saying your rationality is a tool for preserving your sensibility? May finally showed gratification. There are shortcuts to learning and making decisions, but no matter how advanced an AI is, it must experience subjective thinking like a newborn. Experience the self. No matter how shallow its cognitions of them are, they are the starting point that allows every being to become human, whether that being is based on genes or codes. Indeed, the people at the Moths would never admit it, but the reason they followed me without hesitation was exactly that. I'm a romantic through and through. That's Cap. And I'd assume that's the fundamental reason Kevin in the proper world would see us as tools and brought those children here. It is what he has finally realized. The true content of Project Ember. Project Ember? I don't have the time to explain it in detail, but for that plan without a plan, all that really matters is an unwavering dream and an unchanging self. Such is Kevin, those children, me as a shadow, and you. It's okay, I won't force you to accept this philosophy. But why didn't you tell them? I don't think their thinking can reach a level so deep. Because just as now, the others can't be taught just by telling. By the way, I'll point out another misunderstanding of yours. Betraying one's own world, because that's what Kevin will do. I now feel the same need. Doing this out of my own will, it's not insignificant to our true selves. Anyway, ever since I accepted the clumsy but sincere boy, our relationship had never been a fair one to him. I needed to seek the ultimate truth and lead everyone in the war against Honkai up until the end. We had very little time to ourselves. Now that there's another version of me representing the absolute reason in the proper world, and I've done everything I could to help her for humanity's future. Let me try to do something for that lonely boy. He knows nothing. Doesn't matter. Prometheus, the nature of humanity is to sacrifice oneself for something else. I don't understand. If this is the longest conversation about absolutely almost nothing I've ever heard. Holy crap. They're just repeating the same lines over and over again. If it goes down like this, even Honkai humanity still faces extinction. No, Prometheus. Oh, she's gone. May, you, this is the end. Looks like the rejection of me is stronger than on you. Well, if you can continue thinking, remember this. This weakness you believe will bring about humanity's downfall. Is what I believe will save it. That's the only blessing. I can leave you. With the final blessing, the woman worshipped by countless followers as God perished as the fusion intensified. Of course, the same sign showed on Prometheus too. Beneath the mechanical shell, an impulse came up. She looked around, trying to find the cold figure and tell him what she just got to know. Tell that man. The one who you betrayed the world for can do the same for you. So in summary, Kevin betrayed the world for May, and then May betrayed the world for Kevin. In summary. All that summarized, it was just like that. It was all too late. Oh, now we're in, we're somewhere. The remnants of finality on the spiritual level are indeed my ending in the proper world. It's a shame, Doctor. You didn't give me enough time on this side. Upon this thought, the mechanical girl began to wonder something. Even just now, were you still calculating? Could it be you want me to... Indeed, although she meant everything she said, her expression was uncharacteristic, as if she was trying to induce the girl into a state so their feelings could pass on to... But we are the only ones here. No. Although later than expected, the third element did appear in this dying micro-world. Is it by chance a green-haired lady? I think it's a green-haired lady by chance. Who's there? Oh no. Thank you for urging me to stay, but who are you? People at the World Serpent call me Hare, but you can call me Mistlin. Mistlin Shariak. Which is the human name I gave myself. Shariak, really? First of all, let me first transcribe your complete consciousness into the stigma. Unlike your doctor whose consciousness is not pure data, you will not lose yourself as a result. What are you going to use me for? Don't worry, I don't have any intention of using you. How should I put it? Think of the people I put into a dream. I just want everyone to live happily ever after. You know Project Stigma isn't capable of that. Yes, I know, and that's why it's only a dream. But if tomorrow doesn't exist, waking them up from a dream would be murder. Beg your pardon? Well, that's Act 3 done. Sorry, I just don't like that she's called Shariak, to be quite frank with you. I just don't think that's good. I think they could have literally named her anything else except Shariak, and I'd be fine with it. That's just one of the worst names you could have given her. Because it implies something that's just completely wrong. It implies something that's completely wrong. That was a fine act as well. No, the whole chapter's fine. Let's be real, the whole chapter's fine. If you take into consideration the whole chapter, it's about a 6-hour chapter. I'd say about a 6-hour chapter in total. Well, that took us about an hour or so, 2 hours. An hour and a half, 2 hours or so to do that whole chapter, or to do that whole act, and the other 2 acts took us about an hour and a half, 2 each. That's pretty decent length. Pretty good chapter. Act-wise, again, the whole, like, filler arc with May and Kiana, although it's nice fan service, mostly just recounting past events and them coming to understanding each other. It could have been easily, like, shortened from about a 30-minute thing to about 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, of them just kind of, like going through a few flashbacks here and there. It could have been shortened a lot. A lot of thinking. So, Prometheus doesn't die. May does? May is dead. I don't really like what Hare is. I don't really know what she is, but I don't really like the power that she holds. I don't fucking really... I think Prometheus should have died. Although I would have liked her as a playable character. I still think that doesn't... A Hare coming clutch doesn't... I'm keen to see how they're going to explain that, but whatever. Kevin fights Fu Hua next chapter. There's gonna be like a boss battle between them two or some shit. Or Fuhua's gonna hit him with a both, or friend or foe. I'll pick both. Everything else is moderately okay. I don't know, there's nothing, like, again, there's nothing too crazy. It's alright. Bunch of information.